Hey there, friends. I've had a lot of questions about how to do either a live stream or record a service, really recording anything. We've had been in contact with people about national conferences that have had to take everything online, so speakers are trying to find the best ways of doing that. I would first of all encourage you to search this topic on YouTube because there are so many reviews, so many suggestions and tutorials that you can learn so much about this topic for free. And they're probably better than this video. But I want to share a few thoughts. Maybe it would spark some conversation, and I'm available for questions, whereas some channels might not have the time to help you. So ask that question, I'll try to help you out. A couple things that have helped us. One is getting a decent tripod. So I have this tripod here. It's by the company Zomi. There's lots of different ones out there. And so this one I can put on my desk. And so I can get a light, which I'll show you later, it's coming from up here, or a window. Remember that, that's super key. But we can extend this, set this on the desk. So I'll toss this over there. And then you can get something like this to go on the top of your tripod, and this can hold your cell phone. This is important. I would encourage you to think about using a cell phone, say an iPhone 10 or 11, something like that, more than using the little camera on your computer. I have pretty good computers, and I've had a hard time getting those little cameras to work as well as a phone. So get your phone out, and a couple tips with that on how to be successful is to find a great light source. So let me show you some options that way. So first of all, with your lighting, you want to have, if you can, a light source coming from in front of you. A couple ways to find this that's going to be on the cheap is to find a window, preferably one that doesn't have direct sunlight coming in. It would be diffused light, so a window that would just not have the sun shining right through it. So it's a shaded window. It's also good to do this on cloudy days because you have a nice consistent light. If you do have a lot of sun coming in through that window, which could change on you and throw off your settings, you could put a blind or a sheet over that window to diffuse that light. Secondly, if you can find a darker background, you can see we used wood in this situation, and it kind of gradients out to a darker area of the room, and so that helps create some contrast from the subject off of the background. So that's going to help you as well. Even having the background a far distance from where you are sitting will help create that contrast and help you stand out from the background. If I was standing right next to that wall, I would just kind of blend into that wall, and that wouldn't be as helpful. So for light, you're going to want to have one big light coming towards the subject. If you want, you can have what we sometimes call a hair light off to one side. And sometimes if you're able to create a little bit of contrast, we've not put a light on this side to create just a little bit of definition in the face, and that's something you can do as well. If we're doing a Zoom call or recorded, we're just trying to get up and running, just looking right at the window is going to be fantastic. I wouldn't be too concerned about some of the split lighting. You can go online and learn about this, and maybe your stream gets better and better as you improve some of your lighting techniques. So you want that big diffused light in front of you, a darker background, another light to kind of fill some areas, and sometimes you can even put like a lamp in the far distance to kind of add some ambiance to the room as well. So number one is getting the lighting correct. Number two is having a decent audio situation. If you can find a room that doesn't have too much echo, that's going to help out. I have a little lavalier mic, and you can get online, and we'll put a link in the description or something, you can get like the Rode Mic Go, many different lavalier systems, and run them into your camera, and that can create a better sound. If you're at a church, you might be able to record that sound separately and add it to your video later. If you put that mic really close to the subject, then you're not going to get as much of the sound that's going on. For instance, this room is terrible for acoustics, but it doesn't sound that bad because we have this mic so close to where I'm talking. If you're using your phone, you can get close to your phone, not be too far away, and try to find a room that is not going to be too noisy, background noises, a lot of echo. All of that is going to help, but you want to be fairly close to your phone. If you're using that type of situation, that's going to help you. They do sell some mics online where you can connect those and run a mic from the port on the bottom of your phone all the way to you. You don't have to have one of those expensive wireless units. You can run that cord right into your phone. So that would be a great option. Might take a little bit of time to get that on Amazon right now, but if you could order that and kind of gear up a little bit, it's going to help your sound be much better. So there are some tips that'll help you. One, having nice diffused light with a darker background, options with some other lights to fill in, some hair lights to add some definition. Looking for natural lighting that's coming in through a window or a cloudy day. And then also working on our sound to either have some sort of mic that is close to the subject, being in a room that's conducive to sound. And lastly, I want to take you and show you some of this diffused light so that you can see what I'm talking about. And hopefully you can find a light like this in your situation. All right, so I want to give you a little bit of a studio tour here. So we've got Lydia sitting there on the chair, and we've got a big light that's going on up here. I'll try to get another angle on that. And then we have our main camera here. One thing we've also done is put our subject on the left side of the frame on that third over there to give some room on the other side. If you're going to have your subject right in the middle, you got to make sure the person is actually right in the middle. So sometimes we put them off to 1/3 and that helps. If you watch a film, you will see that a lot of times they put the subject on one of the thirds. We've got a Sennheiser wireless unit on the top, and then again we have our subject sitting in a chair. It often helps to have a big tall chair so that you don't look as though you're slouching. So that's something we've done as well. All right, now so just taking you around a little bit here, we've got this one light here, which is adding some hair light. You can see how this is shining on our subject, and that helps add some definition. And then our huge light, this big dome light that we've got going on. I don't know if you can see in the video, but it's a very diffused and soft light. And so that's really helping us have a nice soft light on the subject. I use this and I realize not everybody's going to have one of these big dome lights. They're only about $50 or $60 online, but then you have to have a decent light to go in the back of them. But you can do the same thing with a window. So I want to encourage you just to think about trying to find something that's going to mimic that big soft light there. I want to show you a light that I think would not be a bad purchase if you're looking to up your game. And this is the newer light. It's model NL480. There might be newer ones. This is a couple years old. But this is a bicolor light, so I can turn it white and gold or orange at the same time. And so these have been great little lights for us to use. You can put a battery on the back, or you can plug them in, so that's worked well. As far as diffusion, if you don't have a big setup like that other one, you can use a scrim. These light reflectors, deflectors, lots of different uses for them, called a 5-in-1 reflector often, are really cheap. You can get them for like 25 bucks on Amazon or somewhere. And I'll open this up. Folding them can be the fun part, but what you can do is put your light behind this, and that diffuses the light and kind of does the same thing as that big light that you see up there. So these can work great. You can even put these in front of a window or something to knock down the light. Sometimes it's hard to have enough power out of some of these little lights to make this all work really well, but it's a good way to get started. They do come with some natural, well, not natural, but they come with some diffusion panels in them, so they're not quite as bright. And so even just having the panel is not too bad. But these are totally going to be your friend. These 5-in-1 reflectors that have this scrim type material that let just a little bit of light through are super helpful in a lot of different applications. They also come with some reflectors that zip on top, and you can then bounce light different directions as well. So these are a few little tools that can help up your game. These are not terribly expensive. You might get 2 of these, probably is what I'd recommend, and a couple batteries, and then you're really off to the races as far as trying to up your game with lights. So I hope that's helpful. We just want to show you a few examples of how you can improve your lighting, improve your sound, and do this in almost any situation with lots of different cameras. You don't need a DSLR. You can use an iPhone, especially these days. And I've been telling more and more people, if you can't afford a $2,000 camera setup, just buy the best phone money can buy right now, because they have great little cameras in them and you can go a long ways with those. Then maybe you add to that as you get better at it, but for this crisis, I think you can use a phone and that'll work just fine. I would encourage you to get a phone with lots of storage, and that'll really help be able to transfer things back and forth. If you have any questions, please let us know. We've been helping churches and individuals answer some of these questions so they can present their message very affordably and get it out to people. Thanks.